Hello YouTube world! We got an 89 Jeep here. Rebuilt it for the past year. I bought it, wouldn't even start because they didn't have the right spacers in the starter, and dealt with that for a couple months. But we're gonna put a fuel pump in because I believe there's a check valve bad in mine, and it's looking pretty sad anyways. So I'm gonna get the camera set up and just get right to it. I don't have much to say, so I'm gonna hopefully find a tripod in the basement and see what I can do. Here is what we're taking out. This is the mechanical fuel pump in the Jeep YJs. The reason I really wanted to make this was I saw a bunch of videos because I was trying to figure out where it was, and the videos were showing that it was on the gas tank. And I was like, no, that's the sender. So I'm gonna make this video so that people can actually understand how to take their fuel pump out and not send it to a shop and cost $800 or something stupid. All right, so we'll get right to it. It's here, new one, nice and shiny. I might change some of the hoses out just because I have some hose in the shop, and it'll just look much better. I mean, there's not much to compare it to. So, yeah. So one thing I did forget to mention, they are 1/2-inch bolts, or they're 5/16 bolts with 1/2-inch heads. Hopefully the ratchet's on right. This is just a little crappy ratchet I found because I didn't want to dig through my tool bag in the truck. So, yeah, it's on backwards. That was embarrassing. Okay, let's try this again. Yeah, they're not too tight. One quick turn and the rest of it's hand tight. Yeah, fine. So there's only 2 bolts. The other one is there. Okay, cool. And let's back those out. I wish I could get my hand in there. It'd be much easier. So yeah, I'm gonna get these bolts out. It's just too hard with one hand, and I'll cut it. You guys know where the bolts are. Once it's out, I'll show you what I'm dealing with, and we'll put the new one in. So we got it out. It was pretty easy. There was a hose clamp here. Hose clamp there, and then this hose here, this pipe or whatever it is. Had some threads that threaded into here, which are the same as this one. Whether it's factory or not, I don't know, but it's gonna fit on mine, so that's great. If you guys are following along, that is gonna be pretty tight. I just used a little, I don't know, the pipe wrench kinda, but it's not obviously a pipe wrench, but they got the little slit instead of just a half because you don't want to strip those out because then you'll never get them off. So one thing I did notice is when I go to put this in, there's a little cam in there obviously that pumps it, and that's why it's called a mechanical fuel pump. So you just got to make sure this gets lined up. One way you're going to know is the pump won't fully go against the block if it's not in there. So this is the seat here. And if it's not fully up against that, oh, you can see the cam right there. You just gotta make sure you're above that cam in this case. And the cam, what the cam does is rocks. It rolls like this, and it pushes this lever up, and then the lever retracts, up, the lever retracts, and all that does is a little bit of pump. There's a valve in there that pushes the fuel. There's the feed here, and it pushes it out into here, which follows this line there, here, into the fuel filter, and then into the carburetor. Yeah, lessons by James. Woo! Yeah, so I'm gonna put this back in, and then we're gonna start it up. I had like no fuel in mine because of that check valve issue, because of the pump issue. I'm hoping yours will probably spill quite a bit. It's not very hard to catch it. I mean, it's not very easy to catch it, so just do your best and don't make a mess. Ruins the driveway, so just be careful. I'm gonna put this back in and hopefully we'll be done. So I just noticed I didn't read the directions because I went to go read the directions because they gave me 2 gaskets. And whenever they give me 2 gaskets, I never know if it's because I need to use them both or because they just think I'm gonna rip the first one. But I went to go read the directions, and here are the directions. This is a Napa mechanical fuel pump. Apparently you have to disconnect the battery. Makes sense. I probably should have done that so I don't explode. Drain the fuel, yeah, disconnect the electrical and fuel lines, support the lower tank, remove fuel pump, inspect, flush, and dry fuel tank. Well, I'm not gonna flush my fuel tank because that's like 50 bucks. So yeah. But yeah, here are the directions. Hopefully they're on your package. I'm gonna take that gasket off, put the new one on. I need a gasket scraper or a chisel. It's just a wood chisel. We use them at work all the time. It's easy enough. The gasket's not coming off very easy, so just gonna use this quick thing. Just push up a little bit. It usually lifts them right up, and then we'll put the new one on and test it and do whatever else needs to be done, because it's probably gonna leak and all this crap. So yeah. So the old gasket's off. I'm gonna put some of this Permatex on it, on the new gasket, because it won't stick to the block very well, and for us to actually, oh no, I guess there was some fuel in it. I didn't know that. Okay. That's interesting. Maybe my fuel pump was fine. Well, we're too far to put it back in, so anyways. So I'm gonna put some Permatex on it just so it can stick to the block, so when I go to put the fuel pump in, I don't push it out of the way or have to hold it and put the fuel pump on, because that's not fun. I've done that before. It's just a nightmare, because then you gotta put the bolts in, and the bolts, you can barely reach the bolts, and this and this and this. So smart tip, put some Permatex on it. It's called Form a Gasket Sealant. There's a gasket sealer, there's, I think that's it. Gasket sealer and Form a Gasket are two very good gasket sealers, and they keep the thing stuck for a little while so you can work on it. So yeah, we're just gonna keep going. I'll stop when I have something else to say, because that's how we roll here. All right, the gasket is sitting there nicely. So now, I want to reiterate what I said, and maybe not reiterate because it was partially wrong. When you put this fuel pump in, you have to push down the cam with the fuel pump because it's spring loaded. Because there's like a secondary cam or something that pushes that one. Oh no, oh, I'm making a mess. So I'm gonna push this in, and it's gonna be tough, but that little lip is gonna go up high, and then it's gonna get pushed in, and then for it to actually seat, I'm sorry you can't see this, for it to actually seat, I just pushed it a little bit harder. See, it pushes it out, and I just have to push it back in. So all you have to do is make sure you're above the cam. I showed you the cam earlier. You gotta be above the cam, and then you're gonna kind of push it down while you put the bolts in. Push the fuel pump down while you put the bolts in. All right, so I'm gonna see if I don't make this thing a mess, and hopefully we'll be done in like 10 minutes, and we'll be good. All right, I just finished putting those two bolts in. It was actually harder than I expected. Oh, my brother's leaving. His truck is ridiculous. Where was I? Yeah, put the two bolts in. I put this in first. Trying to line that hose up while this is in would be difficult, so I did it first. It was much easier. So for the two bolts, I put this one in first, and I snugged it up to the block, and then I pushed down here, which lined this one up, and it was easy that way. I don't know if there's an easier way, but that's how I did it, and I'm gonna test it in a minute and make sure it worked, which means cranking the engine for a little while, and hopefully it fires. So all that's left to do is put that hose on. It's just that hose clamp that I dropped on the ground. So here, little guy. I got a screwdriver. I'm gonna put that in, and then I'm gonna crank it. Okay, I don't really know why I cut the video there, but hose clamp is on, hose is on. I'm not gonna replace that hose yet. It seemed okay. It looks cracked and gross, but the inside is fine, so it's not gonna leak any air. If you guys want to replace yours, it's 5/16 hose. As far as that pipe, I really don't know. But if you don't believe me, this is the same hose, and of course it doesn't say. That says 9mm though. So do the math. I wish this would be in a different spot. If I just bend it a little bit. Okay. So, just started to crank it. I put a new fuel filter on. Forgot about that. Okay, I'm gonna crank it, and hopefully it works. I'm not gonna show you that, so this is gonna be the end of the video. No, it's not. Yes, it is. Well, if you guys enjoyed, I think I'm gonna start a channel. It's not just gonna be one video. The next thing I'm probably gonna do is that ugly exhaust manifold. Probably gonna put headers on. Actually, is that headers? Yeah, I don't know. And then since I'm at it, I might even put a new intake manifold on it. And maybe a new carburetor, depending on how much money I have when I want to do it. Because, yeah, that's the biggest thing, isn't it? So, oh, that fuel pump was about 20 bucks at Napa. And the one thing you need to know before you go is if your inlet is facing forward or backwards. So I just started mine up. Mine worked very well. It took about 30 seconds to get fuel into the system and get it started. So I cranked it for about 30 seconds. It looks like I got a small leak here. To be honest, I don't remember if it was from before or now. So I'm just gonna tighten that up just a little bit because it might not be seating. But yeah, it looks like it's not seating very well. So I'm just gonna crank that up a little bit. It shouldn't hurt anything. So I'm not too worried about doing that. As far as breaking this in, I don't believe there's anything you need to do. I'm going to read the directions like a smart person would, and yeah, I don't think there's anything you need to do. I would drive it for 10-15 minutes, make sure there's no air bubbles or anything, but other than that, yeah, I think that's it. So that's about it. I'll show you a couple things I've done. And I really wish I took videos of all the stuff I did, because at least to track progress and maybe even to show you guys. But so anyways, I'm here. This is the furthest back part of the frame, and mine looked like Swiss cheese. So I built these plates in, and I should have cut out the frame and did all that, but it was quick and I was pretty young. I'm 19 now. I did it when I was 17, almost 18. And then, so since that was off by a little bit, I put these big washers in there to space it out, because this was eighth inch sheet metal, whatever it was. And then I put these in there. I did the same thing on the other side. A shop actually did this part. They put these new shock mounts in there because there was no shock mounts, and my shocks were going up into here, hitting into my cab, and they were probably going to break through. That was keeping it from inspection and all that, so I had to get that done. This brake line does nothing. I don't know why it's here, but I haven't taken it off yet. But I promise there's back brakes. And I put new diamond plate on. I wish I had a picture of the Jeep when it first started. Maybe I can find one and I'll put it right here. If not, then you just look at this one. It used to be blue. The white was blue. This was gray. This was blue. And these were orange. You can see because I whipped a couple trees, but for the most part, I painted the whole thing. Got a new tire carrier, cover, a CB, radio. I do have to see what's wrong with the transmission. I got a new couple different things. But yeah, when I bought it, the gauges all worked and all that, so that was good. I put a new radio in it. It's kind of jimmy rigged in there, but it sits and it stays. I gotta take this cover off because my four-wheel drive bracket's pushing up into the cab, so I can't have four-wheel drive, but it still works. And I might have to get the thing rebuilt because it doesn't like to sit in third gear after 3,000 RPMs, which is not good because I like going faster than that. Which isn't very fast, by the way. It's just to shift back into fourth. It's a nice RPM to be at. But yeah, oh my, there's a ton of leaves in this thing. I didn't even know that. It must just be a duct. I gotta change the heater core. Jeez, I got a lot to do. And then probably redo the windshield because it looks gross. So yeah, it's been a project. It's been a nice project. technically I could say I'm done, but I just don't like the look of it. I mean, I painted this thing with Duplicolor and the paint's chipping everywhere. But yeah, back to the fuel pump. I'm done for today. Fuel pump works great. I'm gonna tighten that hose down and I'm gonna be done. If you guys want to see more videos in the future, hopefully I'll have another project coming in soon because I need stuff to do because I'm always bored. So yeah, stay tuned. I'll have some other stuff up and take care. Bye.